For more on this, let's bring in Massachusetts Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss. Congressman, welcome.
Good afternoon.
I want to play a clip for you from President Biden. I'll get you to react to it.
There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, or discrimination against Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans. It's simply wrong.
Congressman, is that strong enough based on what you're seeing happening on our college campuses?
President Biden is articulating that pluralism is a sacrosanct value for Americans, that we believe that everybody, regardless of nation of origin, regardless of color, regardless of religion, should be able to participate in American civil life without fear of harassment, and certainly should be able to participate in federally funded institutions like Columbia or Harvard or UCLA, all of which take federal grants, that they should be able to go to class without being harassed. The violent and anti-Semitic nature of these student protests at these elite universities is a national travesty, and President Biden has called them so.
You represent Massachusetts. Have you gotten answers about schools in Massachusetts that are getting failing grades for handling anti-Semitism?
Woefully insufficient answers. The Anti-Defamation League recently ranked 10 Massachusetts universities for their campus anti-Semitism. I regret to say that 8 of them got a C or worse. 4 of them got an F. MIT, Harvard, Northeastern, and UMass Amherst. I've written to 8 of those universities requesting an action plan this month for how they're going to improve their campus anti-Semitism scores, because they're right now in Title VI violation. They are not creating a suitable learning environment for their Jewish and Israeli students. And when I was on Harvard's campus a couple days ago meeting with Jewish and Israeli students, the fact pattern that they laid before me was deeply demoralizing and troubling. These are students who are seeking to build a career, to learn more about the world, to have fun, and they're being ostracized from social environments, and they are being actively harassed because of their faith or because of their ethnicity.
Your colleague, Congressman Timmons, a Republican, was on last hour with my colleague Aisha. Let's play him.
These people are protesting. They're not pro-Palestinian, they're pro-Hamas. If they were pro-Palestinian, they would ask Hamas to accept the multiple peace treaties that Israelis and the U.S. have tried to broker. So these people are breaking the law. The rule of law must be enforced, and the mayor needs to do just that.
Do you agree with him that a lot of these protesters are really supporting Hamas and not the Palestinian people?
Well, clearly the protesters are not a monolith. I think there are some protesters who are genuinely pro-Palestine and pacifist to their core and want to see peace the world over. I think there are some protesters who are pro-Hamas and pro-terrorist and deeply anti-Semitic, yes. And unfortunately, that tinge of anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism has accentuated these protests to the extent that they are becoming the defining feature of them. And I regret that. I regret that not just as a Massachusetts member of Congress who is having to deal with the fallout on these Massachusetts campuses for Jewish and Israeli constituents of mine, but I regret that as a proud American watching our country being televised overseas in this light. It's embarrassing.
To Capitol Hill this coming week, Democrats are expected to help Speaker Mike Johnson retain his job as some conservatives try to oust him from it. Is that the right move?
Yes. Speaker Johnson, with whom I have substantial political differences, he governed. And he stood up to his extreme MAGA flank in support of our Democratic allies, so I'm going to vote to protect him. I do think, though, that Americans should reflect upon the fact that when Democrats had the House last Congress, at this time, we were debating how to make health care cheaper by empowering Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Fast forward 2 years, Republicans are debating whether or not we should have a Speaker of the House. So they have been dysfunctional, but the last thing Americans need right now is for another 3-week temper tantrum courtesy of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Your colleague, Henry Cuellar of Texas, is accused of some pretty serious allegations, taking bribes, unlawful foreign influence, and money laundering. Should he resign?
I think he deserves to have an investigation made public, and he deserves to be able to answer these charges against him. Like I've said on this show and others over the last 3 years, whether we're talking about Donald Trump or Senator Menendez or Hunter Biden or now Henry Cuellar, no American, regardless of rank or privilege, is above the law. They all need to answer to these allegations. They all get their day in court to present their own facts. And ultimately, they're all going to be answerable to the conclusions of law.
Congressman Jake Auchincloss, grateful for your time today, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.